I mean, in India, right from the time of Mahatma Gandhi, the idea of the village republic, the power to the people has been there. But for varieties of reason, it hadn't fructified into reality. But with the 73rd and the 74th Amendment of the Constitution, which is where the Panchayati Raj Act came into play, and the urban local governance mechanisms were put in place. The idea has always been that how do we now devolve decision making, power and authority to local government states. Over a period of time in the practice of development, both in academia and practice, it has become apparent that once you have people planning done locally, then people have a better idea of both their needs, their aspirations, and they will have ownership of ideas, and whatever therefore gets done will be much more efficient and effective. So this idea has been there in development practice, and now, but at the same time, you have a parallel line which is going on, which is, I think, an imperative of our society, especially in this country and many other such countries, where given scarcity of resources, people are sort of fighting for those scarce resource, and being a hierarchical, patriarchal society, patron-client linkages are the way the bulk of the political system works in the country. The bureaucracy tends to, that's the key power it has. How does it on a discretionary basis, allocates resources and benefits to people. So both these trends are contrary to each other. But increasingly, I think there is no rollback of the Panchayati Raj system, and I think there is a very strong commitment from the government to sort of make this happen, that people should start making their plans, and that is what should start counting it. I must say that currently that is the struggle as to how to make it as an institutionalized practice, that people's planning processes do happen seriously, and that they are then honored in the implementation process, and allocations of resources are as per people's plans and not discretionary. But it's a contested field right now, because the imperatives of patronage still exist. That's how political parties still make their basis. Senior officials sometimes, that's where you lie. It's largest that you distribute to the select few. So those tendencies continue to remain. In some of the national flagship programs like NREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, the principles and the guidelines are very clear that it has to be planning at the bottom up level. Of course, the reality on the ground is very different. I mean, I'm not saying it's happening in many places, it's not happening, but the intention is clear, and I think if there is space now, if somebody can properly demonstrate how it can happen, it will be honored. So there is that space, and I think that's one of the attempts in this program that me and my colleagues are taking forward. So it's along with the Planning Commission and the support of the UN agencies, is to how do we demonstrate how both the bottom-up planning will actually function. That through use of technology, we can ensure that these plans, from them, various line departments can identify their specific sector plans and priorities, rather than having to work in silos. How there can be convergent action around the people's own plans. So at the center would be the panchayat structures and the plans that they're making. These are their perspective plans for 5 years and 1 year, and then implementation happens as per these plans. We are hoping to demonstrate through subsystem how the implementation side, whenever it happens, information is then given to the communities as to what is happening to their plans, to what extent implementation has taken as per their plan, why it hasn't happened. We are also looking at the district level analysis of large government schemes and saying what are the bottlenecks which are preventing the schemes to actually function in the desirable way. There's a lot of unspent money at the district level, which is very sad. I mean, there's so much need in this country. To say that you can't use most of the money that actually goes is kind of unacceptable. So we are hoping to sort of make that contribution and to understand and unpack what is the constraints at the ground level and fill those gaps.